Alright, this is Ubaid on behalf of V Electronics, and in this video we're going to go ahead and talk about the Boston Consulting Group Matrix, or BCG. Let me write this down over here. This will be BCG. Now when it comes to BCG, okay, you're looking at four criteria. Okay, this has to do with market share and growth. So if you're trying to diversify your products, if you're trying to add a new product into your inventory, if you're trying to buy more inventory, okay, you need to know what your market share is like within that market. You need to know what the market growth is like, okay, to understand whether or not you will profit from adding that product into your inventory. Okay, and for that reason, you have your BCG, which is your Boston Consulting Group Matrix. Okay, and you got four criteria that you're looking out for. Number one is stars. And stars has to do with high market share and high growth. Okay, so basically you're saying you own a large proportion of the market. For example, when it comes to soft drinks, you have Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Okay, they're an oligopoly and they own a large proportion of the market, which means they've got improved chances of making profit. Okay, and you also have high market growth, which means this industry is growing. Okay, so you have high market share. Okay, plus high growth. So this would be your stars. Okay, next you have your cash cow. Okay, and when it comes to cash cow, your cash cow has to do with high market share and low growth. Okay, so you're basically talking about a market where you don't have a high growth. Okay, the growth is proportionately low. However, your market share in that market is pretty high. Okay, so say for example, we go back to our example about Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Okay, if the soft drinks market is not growing at the moment, for the time being, okay, it doesn't really matter. Okay, it's still a cash cow. Why? Because Coca-Cola and Pepsi, they own a large proportion of that market. As a result of which, okay, when they sell soft drinks, okay, they're still making profit. Okay, because they're not competing with a lot of other competitors out there. Okay, so despite the fact that the industry is not growing, okay, their profits are relatively stable. Okay, this has to do with cash cow. Okay, so again, this is high market share. So MS, market share, and low growth. All right, now apart from cash cow, you also have, okay, question mark. And question mark has to do with, okay, low market share and high growth. Okay, so this will be your question mark. This is low market share, low MS, and high growth. All right, and apart from question mark, and again, question mark is a market where you don't own a lot of the market. Okay, you may be a perfect competitor. You may be in perfect competition. There may be other competitors out there. However, the industry in general is growing. Okay, is growing. And the reason why it's growing is because there's a demand for that product in the market. So say, for example, if you have video cards, okay, there is a demand for video cards. Why? Because you've got a number of gamers who use video cards. Okay, and that number is growing every day. Okay, so when it comes to video cards, not only do you use it for movies, you also use it for gaming, as a result of which, okay, the demand for video cards is growing, hence the market is growing. Okay, so question mark. Okay, low market share and high growth. All right, apart from the question mark, you also have poor dogs. And as the name suggests, this has to do with poor market share and poor growth. Now, to make profit in this kind of market is very tough. Why? Because not only is the market not growing, okay, you don't own a lot of the market. Okay, which means you may be a perfect competitor, you may be a sole proprietorship, you may be a small business, and you don't own a lot of that market, okay, for you to make profits. So this has to do with poor dogs, low market share, and low growth. All right, so that would be it for this video. On behalf of V Electronics, this is Ubaid. Have yourself a great day.